Today, we are diving into something that can seriously transform your school, putting in place a new student and parent portal. We're going to build a roadmap that's tailored specifically for the unique challenges you face right here in the UAE. And look, this is way more than just a software project. It's about setting your school up for the future. Okay, let's jump right in.
So let's start with the big question right here. Why are we even calling these portals mission critical? Well, it's because they've completely evolved. This isn't just a simple website anymore. Think of it as the central nervous system for your entire school. It handles everything: admissions, billing, academics, even student safety. Getting this right isn't just important, it's absolutely vital.
And believe me, the stakes get even higher here in the UAE. You're not just launching a portal. You're trying to navigate this really complex landscape. You've got multiple regulators like the KHDA in Dubai and ADEK in Abu Dhabi, and they all have their own rules. On top of that, you're dealing with strict data protection laws, a must-have bilingual Arabic-English interface, and a very particular local payment system. This is exactly why having a rock-solid, structured plan is completely non-negotiable.
So here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll really define what we mean by mission critical. Then we'll walk through the 4 main stages of the project: planning, configuration, testing, and finally, the launch. And at the end, we'll look at how you can actually measure whether it was all a success.
All right, first up, let's really zero in on that term, mission critical. We got to shift our thinking. This isn't just a nice little feature to have. It's a core system that is absolutely fundamental to your school success.
And this chart just shows you the impact perfectly. We're talking about a potential 40 to 60% cut in administrative work. Just think about that for a second. That frees up your staff to focus on what they do best, teaching. And at the same time, you're looking at a huge 65% jump in parent engagement. That's how you build a stronger, more connected school community. These are the kinds of game-changing benefits we're aiming for.
So here it is, the entire journey laid out over 20 weeks. This is our map. You can see the 4 distinct stages, each with its own timeline. And notice that huge block in the middle? Configuration and integration takes a full 8 weeks. That's where all the heavy lifting happens. So now let's zoom in and start at the very beginning, with those crucial first 4 weeks of planning.
Okay, let's dig into stage 1, planning and assessment. These first 4 weeks are the foundation for the whole project. If you get this part right, everything that comes after is just so much smoother.
So what's actually going down in those first 4 weeks? Well, you're talking to everyone, parents, teachers, admin staff, to figure out what they really need. You're doing a deep dive into all the KHDA and ADEK rules to see where the gaps are. And of course, you're checking out vendors who actually get the UAE market. And you're building your A-team internally to lead this thing. Now we're heading into the most intense part of the whole journey. Stage 2, configuration and integration. This is where that blueprint we made in stage 1 starts to become a real, working system. And this part spans a full 8 weeks, from week 5 all the way to week 12. You might be wondering, why so long? Well, it's because this is where all those unique UAE requirements we talked about, the compliance stuff, the Arabic language support, the payment systems, are actually built and coded into the portal. It's incredibly detailed work, and you just can't rush it. During this phase, the team is heads down, focused on the core tasks. They're setting up the system to work with local payment gateways, building out the specific modules you need for KHDA and ADEK compliance, and making sure that the Arabic language version is absolutely seamless. This is where having a vendor with local know-how really makes a difference.
This is where the whole idea of compliance gets really specific. We're not just talking about ticking a box. For the KHDA in Dubai, it means you need a full-blown digital e-signature workflow for the parent-school contract. For ADEK in Abu Dhabi, it might mean integrating a whole system for tracking student well-being. These aren't off-the-shelf features. They have to be built right.
So, the portal is built, but we are not done yet, not by a long shot. Now we move into the incredibly important 3rd stage, testing and train. The goal here is pretty simple. Make sure the system works perfectly and that everyone knows how to use it on day 1. This stage is a focused 4-week sprint. It's all about quality control and getting your users ready. And trust me, it is so tempting to rush this part, but that is a classic mistake. A buggy portal or confused users can sink all the hard work that came before it. The big priority here, as you can see, is a focus on real users. You're doing what's called user acceptance testing with actual parents and staff to find any kinks before they become huge problems. You double and triple check that every regulatory feature is working perfectly.
And then you roll out a ton of training so that when you finally flip that switch, everyone feels confident and ready to go.
And that brings us to the final implementation stage, the launch. But here's the thing. Go live isn't the finish line. It's really the starting line for the portal's new life within your school community.
You know, the smartest way to launch isn't some huge big bang event where everyone gets access at once. Instead, it's a phased rollout. Maybe you start with the staff, then bring on one-year group, and then expand from there. This approach gives you so much more control, and you back it up with intense 24/7 support in those first few days. After that, the process never really stops. It just shifts to monitoring performance and using feedback to make it even better.
So, after 20 weeks of really hard work, how do you actually measure the payoff? Let's look at the key numbers that tell you whether you've really pulled off a successful portal implementation.
The first, and honestly, the most important metric, is adoption. Are people actually using this thing? Your target should be an 85% adoption rate among parents, or even higher. That one number tells you everything. It proves you built something people find genuinely useful, not just another piece of software they ignore.
Next up, we measure efficiency. Now, a 99.5% accuracy rate in payment reconciliation might sound a little technical, but think about what that really means. It means no more hours of manual data entry, no more hunting down mistakes. It frees up your finance team and makes your financial reports incredibly reliable.
And finally, reliability. A mission-critical system has to be there when you need it, period. The benchmark is 99.9% uptime. This means whether a parent is trying to pay a fee at midnight or checking an urgent message from a teacher, the portal is always on. That's how you build trust in your school's digital tools.
And this quote just brings us perfectly full circle, doesn't it? It captures the whole journey. We've gone from seeing these portals as just a nice-to-have convenience to really understanding that they are the operational and engagement backbone of a modern school.
So that leaves us with one final thought. After seeing this whole journey, the unique requirements, and the massive payoff, the real question you have to ask yourself is this: what is your school's portal readiness score? Are you really prepared to take this on?
Professionals lobby, grow, connect, succeed.